I know that at this point in time, this is the end of summer of 2024, and your question now becomes, what is the purpose of homeschooling? Well, let's go into this really quickly but thoroughly, and I'm going to give you some great ideas to let you know exactly how easy homeschooling is, because we're going to define the purpose of homeschooling. Let's start with the basic elementary school, K through 6. What is the exact best way to provide a superb education for your elementary school kids? And it's very simple. Only two factors are involved. One is to create the love of learning. And the second one is, very simply, to create a self-taught individual. Now, this will come with time. You can't expect your child to go straight from summer vacation to, well, I love learning, or I'm being self-taught. I'm only 6 years old. But it is part of your overall goal for the short term of K through 6. Now, if you follow certain curriculums where age equals grade, then we get into a situation where maybe because your child is either behind or ahead of the quote age equals grade standard, they're not going to be thrilled about the love of education. So if you're able to figure out exactly where your child is and work on a concept of mastery, and don't leave that level of mastery until you're convinced we're at an A level situation with the love of learning and the mastery of that particular subject matter. Also, one of the greatest things to do to create the love of learning is very simple. Let the child dream. Even if they're young at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, if they say, Mommy, Daddy, I want to be one of these, don't ever be a dream stealer. If you dream steal, then you take away purpose. Because if a child has a dream, they have a purpose. And if a person has a purpose, then they have something to lose. And you, if you take away that dream, will give your child no purpose. So, create the love of learning by letting the child dream. And even if they say something like, I want to be a lawyer or a baseball player, or football player, let them dream that. My daughter was 10 years old when she said, Dad, I want to be a pilot. Well, guess what? She's a pilot. She got her dream and many more. The next thing you want to do is to create a self-taught learner. And that's real simple, more simple than you realize. Let's say that your child says, Mommy, Daddy, why is blah, blah, blah? Then you say, well, you can take two directions here. You can just say, here's the answer. That's the easy way. Or let's find out. Let's go to, I'm going to date myself now, but let's go to the encyclopedia. The modern day parent will go, ooh, let's go find out on YouTube. Or let's go to the library and find a book on that particular thing. And let the child start the process of discovering how and where to find their answers to their questions. What this does is that you will create a lifetime learner, which is extremely important. So as you can see, elementary school is quite simple. Very simple. Don't get bogged down on workbooks. Don't get bogged down on excessive number of hours educating your child. Don't forget, nobody cares how your kid did in 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th grade. When's the last time your employer asked you, can I see your 2nd grade report card, please? Of course not. It's not going to happen. The important part is that you create an individual that can hit high school with high level of success. Now, let's talk about high school. Imagine that. What comes after elementary school? High school. We get all caught up in many cases, especially if you're with a charter, with A to G requirements. Now, I'm from California, and maybe A to G doesn't matter in Massachusetts. I don't know. But here's the deal. The curriculum for high school kids is cookie cutter. You go to the best schools, the mediocre schools, all the students have 220 units. They got their A to G. They got their meaning. They got the list of courses that the University of California and the Cal State system wants to see. But guess what? Not every college is going to be 100% glued to A to G certified courses. What I'd rather see is a student taking a wide variety of courses with diversity and prepare the child for age 25. That should be the foundation of the curriculum you want to choose. What do I mean by prepare the child for age 25? Generally speaking, an individual by age 25 has finished high school, and either they've gone into the military, or they've gone into private enterprise, or they've gone to the college system. And even if you go to college by 25, you're done with college. Unless you're going to go into med school, then you're probably just barely getting out of med school by then. So you should be established in your lifetime direction. So we want to prepare that high school student for exactly one thing, age 25. If your child says, I want to be an electrician or a carpenter, go into the trades, which I highly recommend, by the way. College has a very low return on investment quotient going forward these days on many levels. But let's say they want to be a high-end carpenter. Why would they take slice and dice of kitty cat biology? Why would they take calculus? Why would they take physics? What they need to do is take all kinds of classes on different kinds of woods, how to use different kinds of power equipment, maybe take a wood shop class here and there, prepare themselves for what they would like to be doing. And then you have a much happier child because they're not going to be sitting down doing mundane work they don't like. I mean, really, what do you think? But if the child has a desire to be a doctor, a lawyer, a physicist, then what we want to do is be in a position where they do take slice and dice of kitty cat and physics and chemistry, all the upper level courses to prepare them for university level courses. So creating that pathway to age 25 is really very, very important. And also, this is how we do it. I run a PSP in California, and I'm a big believer in throwing away the concept of time. What do you mean by that? Very simple. Traditional classroom, you go to Algebra 1 for 1 year. Now, what happens if you haven't mastered Algebra 1 in that 1 year? Let's say you get a B. You will go into Algebra 2 or geometry with a 20% deficiency. And that deficiency compounds over the length of high school. Because if you get a B in Algebra 1, you may want to get a C in geometry or Algebra 2. Whereas our belief here is that you take and master that class. Let's say that it takes a year and a half for your child to master, meaning the big A, master Algebra 1. A year and a half. I will only give 1 year of credit, but it's an A. Now let's fast forward to the next school year, and it's geometry. And they master geometry in half a year. What happens? I give a full year of credit. because they've mastered it, they've got the A. That needs to be the whole emphasis on high school, is to decide to yourself as a parent teacher that mastery is where it's at. Because then what you do is you create the A student. And if you extend my philosophy of creating a self-taught person, now we're self-taught, we have mastery, which we really love having, and that adds to the love of learning quotient that we talk about so much. Now, realize that sometimes those dreams change, and that's okay. That's what you have community college for, if they make a late high school change. But speaking of community colleges, that is an excellent way to create a student with lots of opportunity for exploration. And imagine this, I've had students as high school students, they do a thing called concurrent enrollment here, that get credit for the college courses they take, and you also get high school credit. So now we have, and it goes to a weighted GPA, and for every semester of college, that's worth 1 full year of high school credit. So now we have the potential for creating an awesome, I mean, a phenomenal transcript. The average kid has 220 units. I don't care if you're going to a hotty-toddy private school or a basic school in the lower socioeconomic strata. They all have 220 units for those who graduate. And it's the same cookie cutter courses, especially the college prep, the A to G. They don't have time for much else. But we have students that have upwards to 300 units. And they've got their 30 college units. In some cases, they have their AA degree along with their high school diploma. Now, don't forget, when that high schooler graduates and we create a transcript, it's now our job to help sell that student. You got to think about it from a marketing perspective. And what I use for my advertising campaign to sell this product, this student, is the transcript. And if I got to sell them to either admissions or HR. So if I have a college admissions officer looking at the transcripts of a large number of my students here at EIE, they're going to look real sweet compared to the typical 200 units A to G. They're going to have classes in college, which proves already they're capable of doing A and B work in the college environment. Also, they have built their self-confidence up because they're going, wow, I can do this high school stuff, and I can do college work. What a phenomenal, absolutely fantastic way for your child to exit the high school arena. So basically, high school, broken down very simply, mastery, create the dream, and be self-taught, and retain that love of learning. That's what it's all about. Now, parents, a final note here. Every life is a book. You have your own life book. I have my own life book. My wife has her own life book. But everybody is a book. Up to about 10th grade, that book is a biography written by who? You, the parent. But now it's going to start to be the time to transition to the point where that book becomes an autobiography written by who? By your student, your child. And they need to go forth and write their own story. Now, in the beginning, you, the parent, can retain editorial influence. But They got to start writing their own book. That means when I talk about where they want to be at age 25, is where your student wants to be at age 25, not you. Don't fall in the trap. I've seen too many disasters where the parent says, my child will be a doctor or a lawyer or this or that, work for a big corporation. Maybe that child doesn't want to work for a big corporation. Maybe he doesn't want to be a doctor, but he'd be thrilled to be a high-end carpenter who will make as much money as a doctor if he does it right by mastering his trade and then becoming self-employed. That's the secret, my friends, to a highly successful educational philosophy for those families who homeschool the long term. If you're homeschooling for a semester, a year, 2 years, this does not work. But for those who want to go long term, and there's no reason why you cannot do long term, you will have an extremely happy learning experience for your child. Your family life will become much, much better than one built on conflict because you're forcing someone to do something they don't want to do. You want to create the fact that they want to do something, not have to do something. When people have to do something, they're not all that happy sometimes. So let the child dream their dream and don't steal it. It's not worth it. And if they have a dream, let's say I have a lot of kids who want to be a basketball player, baseball player, and I never, ever steal the dream. But what I will ask for is a backup plan. And I explain, say, look, you can be driving down the 210 freeway and you get in a car accident and your leg is mangled up. You can't pitch anymore. You can't run anymore at a professional level. So what's your backup plan? And we work on the backup as well as the original plan. And the backup can still be in the original dream. Instead of being a baseball player, maybe they become a coach, a sports photographer, a part of the management team of a team company. So there are ways to stay in the major and not steal the backup, not steal your dream. Okay, so in summary, real quick, elementary school, create the love of learning. 2, help your child become a self-taught individual. High school is preparing for age 25, mastery and diversity on the transcript via exploration and the introduction to community college courses if your child can handle the academics on that. So again, I'd like to say thank you for listening and have a wonderful homeschool journey because it is well worth it. If you want to connect with me, check on the information below somewhere. Okay, thank you kindly. And if you feel like liking this, please do. And if you have questions, you can connect with Dr. Homeschool at gmail.com. And again, have a wonderful day. We'll catch you on the next video.